Hello, welcome to PODnas. This is a sports show with some Southern Cajun flair. I'm Daniel Hawks. That's Jerit Roser. Today we are going to talk about the NBA playoffs, which just started. Jerit got a little 5 minutes of fame. We'll go into that and some Saints news about the draft coming up before our draft episode later this week. Jerit, how you doing?
Good, man. NBA playoffs are, full go now. We had the play-in stuff last week, but I really still look at the Saturday, Sunday of 8 games in 2 days as the kickoff. And so I watched myself 8 NBA playoff games in 2 days and looking forward to what's ahead.
Yeah, it's great. And we gotta take what we can get from this TNT crew because we don't know how it's going to change next year, And speaking of,
Nice.
Yeah, right.
I certainly have concerns. I hope as true to the form that we've seen for the last couple of decades moving forward as
and
possible.
So wait,
we'll
what
see,
is the so and then we're talking about TNT, the TNT show with Ernie Johnson, Shaq, Charles Barkley, and Kenny Smith. They will no longer TNT did not get rights for the NBA games moving forward. So there's no point in having an NBA show on TNT, but they are still with Turner Sports. So what can you explain to the people that don't know what the deal is, where they'll be moving, why it is so kind of monumentous that they won't be on TNT anymore? Do you know?
Monumentous. Yeah. So I think essentially it's going to be similar in some ways to Pat McAfee dynamics, where they have their own kind of production in place, but are then broadcast through ESPN. And so I think it was important to Ernie and the cast of hosts that they had their team from Turner still in place doing all this. EJ's kind of expressed repeatedly that he's a Turner guy, a lifelong guy, and was planning to stay there. If some other channel tried to pick up the show, that he was a Turner guy. But I think also what's been important to them is we hear all the time underdog put it on a t-shirt and all that, everyone behind the camera. I think it was important for them to keep that family together as much as possible. But obviously, as you said, the games won't be on TNT. They'll be on ESPN and NBC and Amazon, I believe. And so it sounds like through ESPN there will be some still Turner produced inside the NBA component that's just fed into our television screens through, the power of technology.
Hey, love that. Hey, thanks for giving the recap. This show's been on for so long. I know both Jerit and I have talked about how much we love it. And last night, during all the hubbubalub, what they do is they bring up tweets during the show. Our very own Jerit Roser was featured on TNT. We're gonna put it right here. There you go. It's like in here somewhere. Ernie Johnson eats her shoot fresh as you expect. My goodness. Blowy face emoji, blowy face emoji, blowy face emoji. Hashtag NBA on TNT. How does it feel to be the most famous person on the PODnas pod?
Well, that's the normal day to day of the pod. So really
now we're on a national scale. Okay. Before it was
okay. So I prepared some words. I did not actually. So I mean, it was cool. I tweeted it. I have tweeted at or hashtagging NBA on TNT an awful lot through the existence of Twitter, essentially. And I don't think I've ever been pulled up on screen. Shout out to buddy Seth Lewis, who I saw be on the screen with a tweet a couple of years ago. And that was exciting to me, just someone that I knew to be on there. Ultimately, it's a tweet on a show for like 5 seconds. And so it kind of is what it is. But I did not expect it to happen. And so I'm sitting there typing about NFL draft prospects or high school prospects and new offers and stuff. I don't remember which story I was on at that point. And when they started reading it and pull up the tweet next to Ernie, I kind of hit the DiCaprio gif of like stopping and pointing at the TV, getting a little like teary-eyed from just like the surprise and excitement of the moment, and trying to grab my phone fast enough, because while it is a tweet on a TV show, it is a TV show that has been as consistent a presence in my life since I was like single digits of age as anything. Yeah. Like I remember being able to stay up on Friday nights and watch double and triple headers, and that being like a highlight of the entire week, and then watching the old, even like pre-Shaq and Chuck days of Inside the NBA. And then obviously it's been a juggernaut for the past 20 some odd years. But I'm an idiot that has like shirts of the show and whatnot. And so while I grabbed that because I caught wind of the fact, by you telling me that we'd talk about this, but it was really cool. And so I think the excitement of that I felt, and the excitement to kind of share on social media platforms and in text, and for everyone else to kind of get excited is part of the beauty of that whole process, where they get the fans involved, a few
It's
times
great.
through the show every night. Yeah. It's awesome engagement for a really beloved show.
Absolutely. And, some NBA basketball was played too. So like you said, we had our first 2 days of double
Yeah,
headers.
man. I feel bad about overshadowing Steph and all those guys this weekend, but I had to do what I had to do.
don't feel bad about it. It is what it is. All right. They just they can't be under your umbrella of awesomeness. I guess that's what I wanted to go with. I'm making up words today. What did I say?
I noticed.
Magnitutious, or what was it?
You said monumentous, and then whatever the hell you said of hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo. I believe both of those could be words. Okay, they sound wordy. All words are made up. All right, let's just go with that.
Yeah, that's fair. Stay woke.
Yeah. So, first up, wanted to just go over very quickly. I wanted to ask you, what of the teams that you think lost game one can still win the series? So, to go over that, Pacers beat the Bucks, Nuggets beat the Clippers, Knicks beat the Pistons, Timberwolves beat the Lakers, Golden State won. They beat the Rockets. Thunder absolutely demolished the Grizzlies. If you pick that one, I will very much like to hear your stance on why. Celtics took care of the Magic. Cavs took care of the Heat. So of those, which one do you really think that has a shot of obviously it's very early on in a series, but has a shot to win the series after going down in a 1-0 hole, or the best shot?
Yeah, I think anytime the playoffs get started, you're kind of balancing the lessons of which you get this opening weekend and realizing that it is super common for people to overreact to the first game and try and call a series way in advance, when these series, particularly for the last, over a decade now, I think it's a 7-round series in the first round, or 7-game series in the first round. And so you can't take too much from that first game. It's a long series of swings, but you can certainly glean some takeaways. I don't think going into this week that I expected the 8 seeds to give the 1 seeds much anyway. And I don't expect that to change. Certainly not after watching OKC run Memphis up and down the court the way they did this weekend. And Cleveland, I thought, as much as Miami battled them for 3.5 quarters, it just looked like Cleveland is clearly the better team. Same thing, the 2 seed over in the East, Boston and Cleveland. Really, the other 3 Western Conference series, I think, are going to remain pretty adventurous. I'm happy, as someone that likes the Warriors, that they were able to go get game 1 in Houston, and some of the things that you saw there of them, while being out rebounded by 16, their ability to get some key rebounds and moments down the stretch, their ability to defend right there with a really good defensive Rockets team, their ability to win a game when outside of Steph and Jimmy, no one was really that good on offense until a couple of key moments late. They got some shots from Moses Moody and Pajemski. That was really encouraging, but it's going to be a long series where a physical Houston.
It's surprising to me that Kuminga just is benched, like that he just doesn't play.
It
is wild.
It's been incredible. It has been
like, for someone that athletic, like that, he can't bring anything to that Pajemski brings more to the table than Kuminga in minutes wise.
Pods was going to be in the mix regardless, but like Santos is on the court for whatever it was, 10 minutes a game.
Well, still, do you think, I personally don't think that, Pajemski's a nice player. And I think it works in there on certain times, but I don't think he should be getting more minutes than someone like Kuminga. I understand that he's very similar into what Jimmy's does, but I feel like, especially when it gets later on, and even against this Rockets team, you're going to need length Like if the Rockets decide to
Yeah.
go Şengün and Steven Adams, like Warriors are giving up a lot of rebounding length, and Kuminga is someone who can
which
go get it. Yeah,
the Rockets should. Steven Adams was really good in that game
yeah.
in terms of what he brought, and just the bigger that the Rockets can go, and the more it accentuates the shortcomings, no pun
I
intended,
mean,
of
they
the
can.
Warriors, the better.
The Rockets can literally go Tari, shout out LSU, Tari, Steven Adams, and
Monster. He had some
Şengün,
big moments
and
last night.
yeah, and they could be just a wall from the three spot down. If you slide Tari over, like, and then what are they throwing out? Like Davis Price, Kevin Looney, Kevon Looney, and and Draymond Green. Like those are your three big men. Like that's not going to be enough for that maybe. And then get Dylan Brooks off the floor. The less I have to see of him, the better. I still just
Yeah,
no.
I don't care for Dylan Brooks very much, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, that series is one that I certainly would think Kuminga could be helpful in that matchup. Similarly, Minnesota gets a huge win in LA for game one of that series. And if Minnesota and Golden State advance, that's another matchup where theoretically Kuminga could be really helpful. But as of now, we don't have any reason to believe that we're seeing Kuminga again this season.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see how it develops. But I mean, the season, the season on the line down the stretch there, the seeding on the line down the stretch there, whatnot, in the final game of the regular season, and then in the play-in, and then in the first game of the actual playoffs, he's nowhere to be seen in terms of on court. But all three of those, getting back to your original question, all three of those series, I am similarly really excited that Minnesota got what felt like a pretty emphatic win against LA. And speaking of just the LSU production, Nas comes off the bench and has 23-5, 2-2, and was huge in their run to kind of take control of that thing. And so on a night where Ant, ends up over 20 points, but was 8 for 22 from the floor and wasn't a huge game for him per se. McDaniel and Nas kind of carried some things offensively in stretches, and the Wolves were able to go on the road and win a game where Ant isn't huge. So that I thought was big, but at the same time, it's a long series, and LeBron and Luka are going to get theirs over the course of it. And then the Denver and Clippers series is going to be nuts, like start to finish. That game. That series is going to be wild.
That one. I feel like that one's going 7. I feel like this Lakers Minnesota one. This is one, if I had to guess, that years ago when the Heat had LeBron and it was Derrick Rose MVP season, the Bulls came out and smacked the Heat in game one of their playoff series, and then they didn't win another game. I think if any playoff series has potential to do that, I think it's this Timberwolves Lakers. I would bet on that. LeBron was everyone in the starting five was obviously a negative, but LeBron on the plus minus that game. But LeBron was negative 22. He only had 19 points. He really didn't put a stamp on a game. And until we get to the next round, and games are every other day, basically, LeBron's still going to have a little bit of time to, heal his 40-year-old body. I think that the Lakers come back this series, and I would say maybe 6, but I wouldn't even be surprised if it was a 5 and the Lakers just take full control of this. But that's just me. I could be wrong. Probably will be.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I won't be surprised if the Lakers win. I think again, those are the three series, the 2-7, 3-6, and 4-5 in the West that I think are most likely to have the teams that dropped game one go on and win the series. But I think it's going to be a battle if the Lakers are to come back and do that. I think Minnesota is going to have some for them and kind of rekindle some of the things we saw from the Wolves last postseason. But I think the Denver Clippers one is going to be insanity. Yeah. And on the other side, the two that we didn't really mention as much of, I think I expected the Knicks and Pacers to win those series, but after watching the way that those game ones went, I'm far more confident in both of those pre-playoff predictions after watching how much the Pistons fell apart in the fourth quarter and watching how lopsided that Indiana versus Milwaukee game was, and the seeming inability for, almost anyone not named Giannis to do anything offensively against
Yeah.
Indiana, while Indiana's moving the ball around and shooting 60% for 3.5 quarters.
On note with that, Dame Lillard is questionable for game 2, so he might be able to come back, which might give Milwaukee some push. I really think with both of those series, though, as well, I want to see the Pacers and the Knicks, how they play away from home, because I feel like in Detroit, that's going to be a really tough place to play. And we know down in Pfizer, up in Milwaukee, like that is a hard place to play. They love their Bucks out there. They will get loud. It will be a really tough place. So I kind of want to see, see how game 2 goes. I'm kind of expecting it might be similar to game 1, but I'm really looking forward to the swing from home to away there. I think I think we'll really see if it is as lopsided or if this may be a real long series because the home team just has such an advantage at each location.
That's part of the deal that I know you know well, but for anyone that happens to watch that doesn't tap in as aggressively to NBA playoff time every year, I mean, the adage of the series doesn't start until someone wins on the other team's court, and so you're supposed to take care of home court in the playoffs. And if you're the road team, like a Milwaukee or like a Pistons, you just have to win one away. And so you got 4 chances. Go take one, and game 1 didn't work out for you, but you got 3 more chances to get it done, and then just take care of home. But we'll see. Those are the 2 that, and again, of the 5 that felt kind of pivotal, those are the 2 that I feel most confident in the team that took game 1. The one seeds and Boston are just
I wasn't even going to talk
maybe
about
not
this. And I wasn't going to talk about the 1 seeds, and I wasn't going to talk about the Magic. The Magic and their
not
offense not found here.
They may not roll through those series, at least in the Eastern Conference series. I think the Florida teams are going to battle. Certainly the Heat, are going to battle and give it everything they've got, and make things interesting, at least from game to game, if not make it a little bit of a series. But I have no hesitation in picking the Thunder, Cavs, or Celtics. And for OKC, I left this weekend feeling that much more confident in my
130 in a
bets
playoff
that
game.
They're going to win the West.
130 in a playoff game, and then what did the Memphis had?
SGA didn't do a whole hell of a lot offensively from a scoring standpoint either. And they were just racking up points. Everyone was scoring. Whole squad 8.
It was absolutely ridiculous. Very funny. I feel that the 3 teams that didn't win on Sunday couldn't crack 90 points. Feel like you're gonna in the NBA the way it is right now. Like I feel like that 100 point you're gonna at least want to shoot to get there, maybe upper 90s. But Rockets 85, man. Magic 86, Grizzlies 80. Like none of them, except for the Rockets, could even score in the 20s in the fourth quarter. Like the Cavs outscored the Heat in the fourth quarter 35-21. But I feel like that's the difference. Is these fourth quarters is where we're going to see who can actually get buckets when the defense is that much. And those 3 teams, I just felt like had nowhere to go in the fourth quarter. They had no one to really look to, like, especially even in that Heat series. Yeah, it was close going into the fourth quarter, but outside of Tyler Hero, there's no one there. And Cleveland has 3 or 4 dudes that you can look to get a bucket in a clutch situation, whether it's Garland, whether it's Mitchell, even Evan Mobley, like Jared Allen can step up, whether it's on defense or something close. I feel like it's really going to come down to that. And that's the beauty of the playoffs too.
Miami had some issues in the fourth quarter where they kind of shot themselves in the foot with some turnovers too. But at the end of the day, as high scoring as people talk about and expect the NBA to be in modern times, whether it be a high scoring game or, start to fall back into some lower scoring rock fight type things like Houston and Golden State was for a lot of the night. And like some of these other games were, when it gets down to the back half of the fourth quarter, you have to have a guy and probably a couple of guys who can go get their own buckets in key moments. And if you don't have that, you're not going very far in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything tightens up. And it's the beauty of it. We got next up, we're going to switch gears from the NBA over to the NFL draft, which is this upcoming Thursday. This next show that we're going to do later this week, we're going to do a mock draft, a snake draft with Jerit and I, where we go through the first 10 picks and he'll go, I go. We'll see if his picks mess up my picks. If my picks mess up his picks, we're going to move it all through. That's going to be coming up later this week. So you guys check us out on Thursday for that. But up until then, we've got a little bit of Saints news with the NFL draft. Adam Schefter reported today that they are, as in the Saints, are looking to move up in the second round, to go early in the second round, and that they're probably not going to take a quarterback with this 9th overall pick, even with all the Shedeur Sanders kind of hubbubaloo and buzz that had been around the last couple weeks with that as well. So these things kind of are very ebb flow. You got to pick through the misinformation going into the draft night. But do you think that the Saints are kind of out on a quarterback at 9 and are really trying to focus on maybe moving up into the late first round, early second round to maybe pick up a Jackson Dart or something like that, or even maybe a Jalen Milroe, something of that nature? Or do you think that this is all just smoke and mirrors and that they are going to take someone like Shedeur at 9?
I was skeptical about the Shedeur at 9 piece a week or so ago to begin with, and I don't know how much of that skepticism was objective skepticism versus how much was just hoping as a person that has grown up around the Saints that they wouldn't take him there.
Yeah.
But I was kind of, until that name got called, I was going to assume that that wasn't actually happening. I do like to hear reports that it sounds like the Saints have no intention of taking a quarterback at 9, whether it be Shedeur or Dart, just from a standpoint of whether you like those guys and think, okay, that could be a quarterback that we take early in this draft. If you're Kellen Moore and company, I think across the board, everyone who evaluates everyone from a media standpoint who we see public evaluations of outside of what each team's board looks like seems to be grading those guys as maybe late first round, if not second round or beyond type talents.
Yeah.
And so regardless of whether you want them at some point, do not reach for them at 9, regardless of the position, when you have as much to fix as you have to fix. And so I do really like hearing that piece of it. I don't know that I'm overly worried about, if I'm the Saints, moving up, unless you're in love with one of those guys and think you can get them the last couple of picks of the first round, early couple of picks of the second round, and that you're not going to have to give up a whole lot of draft capital to move up. I think sit pat and see how it goes. I guess I'm not the one that's potentially enamored with any of these quarterbacks like a Jackson Dart or otherwise, though. I'd be happy enough taking the Tyler Shutt kid out of Louisville even later, if that's who falls to you. And again, we've talked so much about the potential of a 26 quarterback, but I think for this team, don't give up a whole lot of assets to go make moves and just kind of, weigh your values and make the best value proposition moves you can make at both at 9 from a player standpoint and what that trade may look like early on day 2.
And you know what? I'm just going to say it because I'm the official pessimist of the PODnas podcast when it comes to Saints. They should really suck this year and get Arch Manning next year.
So
that's what I would do.
I do increasingly wonder the likelihood that Arch even comes out next year, or if he continues to, with as much money as he's making from NIL and as much money as that family already has, if they just let him continue to develop at the college level before making that leap. Either way,
I really,
Nuss and other options are there in 26.
Yeah. I feel like it really too, on it. And, we can say this about every single kid that may come out next year. Like, really depends on how he plays. If he blows it up this year and he's the best quarterback in the entire college field, like bar none, then I don't think there's a reason. Why wouldn't you want to start? Yeah, you're making money in NIL, but you can start to make generational wealth and start that clock on your rookie contract, so you can start making that really good money. So, yeah, I just, if there's even a shot of that, or just a better quarterback class this upcoming year, which I think it will be, that you
It
kind
will
of
be,
push
regardless of Arch.
Yeah.
It will be.
Yeah. You push this year and you look a little bit towards next year where some of that cap stuff may be a little bit better. And also you're just looking like there's so much to fix right now. Throwing a young kid into that Saints situation, that Saints offense, regardless of what Kellen Moore does to it, is going to be a tough ask for anyone.
Yeah, for me, everything, if you're trying to build yourself back, everything is about maximizing value when it comes to the draft. And so, again, if somebody falls to you at 40 and it's someone that through your evaluations as a coaching staff you really like and think has a chance, then by all means make that move. But in terms of reaching for someone at 9, I hated the sound of that. In terms of moving up and giving up draft capital to go get one of these guys in a quarterback class where people are talking about the top quarterback in the class, would he have been quarterback 4, 5, 6 a year ago? Would he be quarterback, 3, 4, 5, 6 a year from now? And then the further you go down from that Cam Ward piece, the further you go down that kind of comparatively down that list. And so don't give away extra pieces to go get a guy just because he's a quarterback.
Absolutely. 1000%. I'm super excited for our show on Thursday. We're excited to bring it to you, but yeah, for us to go back and forth with this. NFL draft week is here. It's great. NFL playoffs are here. NHL's happening too. I don't follow that as much, but they love it up here. So it's a great time for sports.
Let's do that hockey.
Let's do that hockey. That's all we got for you today. We're going to be back with you on Thursday with our NFL mock draft 1.0, I guess, the PODnas 1.0 NFL mock draft. The day
1 point only.
Yeah, 1 point only. We love it. Can't wait to see you guys next week. That is all. Do you have anything else for us before we get out of here, Jerit?
No, that's it, man. Ready to go watch my guys, EJ, Chuck, Shaq, and Kenny for another night of basketball.
So there we go. I'm going to go do that. I got a little datey date. We'll see how that goes.
What's his name?
Well. Dana. So anyway, regardless of our personal stuff, you can go follow Louisiana versus All Y'all on Twitter, on Instagram, and on this YouTube page. Twitter and Instagram, just follow LA versus All Y'all, Louisiana versus All Y'all. If you're on YouTube, you're watching it now, please like, share, comment. We'd love to hear from you. Also follow PODnas at PODnas_LA on Instagram. See, you can go up there right now and see Jerit's tweet. All right. His big 5 minutes from TNT is up on our Instagram page. You can see it. It really exists. It's there. We'll see you guys next time. PODnas out.